Okay, now I'm going to continue my review of this development environment playlist. Currently, I'm doing this one right here, configuring PHP on the virtual machine. I'm reviewing what I did for the development environment and then making up my mind what I want to do for the production environment. So, where is the PHP configuration stored? Where are the PHP configuration files? They're in etc PHP. Remember, Apache was in etc Apache 2? Well, PHP is in etc. I'm going to go there. cd etc PHP 5. Okay, there we are. We are in etc PHP 5. So what's in here? etc PHP 5 has 3 folders in it. There's Apache 2 folder, CLI folder, and mods available. Mods available has .ini files related to specific PHP modules, or it could just have custom ini files. Okay, so that's what's in mods available. Let me go in there to show you. cd mods available. Okay. It has these ones related to specific modules. All right, let me go back up. Okay. Okay, so we know what's in mods available. What's in Apache 2 and what's in CLI. What I want to tell you is the structure of these 2 folders is very similar. I'm going to go into this one right now and show you what's in there, because that's the one that we'll actually be using most of the time. This one is for when a user accesses your scripts using a browser. This one is for running PHP scripts on the command line. Okay, so let's go cd Apache 2. Okay, what this has is a file called php.ini, and it has a directory called conf.d. This file right here, php.ini, that's the main that's basically the configuration file for the PHP which responds to requests that come from browsers. So this is like the Apache PHP configuration file. Okay, now remember I said there was a CLI and then Apache too, directories? Well, the one for CLI also has a php.ini. And it also has a conf.d. Okay? So what is conf.d? Conf.d directory has symlinks to enable .ini files from the mods available. Okay, remember? Okay, I'll just go into it and then I'll show you and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. cd conf.d. Alright? Okay. Remember the mods available in the PHP? Well, these are all symlinks to those configuration files. So basically, those are the extra configurations which will load for Apache PHP. There are similar ones for the CLI PHP. Okay? Now, I'm going to create a file called custom.ini, and I'm going to put in it, I'm going to put it in etc PHP 5 mods available. Alright, so let me cd ... Okay, cd mods available. What? Alright, let me see what's here. Okay, I need to go up one more. Alright, cd mods available. Okay, I'm going to create. Okay, I'll use nano custom.ini. Okay, and this is where I'm going to put my custom PHP for Apache configuration settings. I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to enter a whole bunch of stuff in here, and then we'll talk about it. While you weren't watching, I copied these from my development environment. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to update what I have here with what I have right here in my notes. Okay, this is the final state of this file. I'll describe what's in here. Priority equal 0. 1. This is metadata. It's actually being processed. It's not just a plain old comment. And this, I believe, gives this file, this configuration file, a high priority. Okay, error log. This is the location where I'm going to have my PHP errors logged. Log errors max length. This tells it there's no limit on the... See, what it does is when it wants to print an error either to a log file or the screen, it looks at the length of the message. And there's supposed to be a maximum length, and above that, it'll just not give that error out. By putting 0, I'm not putting any limits on which error message based on length. Okay, memory limit. Okay, all these limits that are in megabytes or megs, I've set them all to 640. I'm not sure exactly what each one refers to, but I get the feeling that they overlap in definition. So I just made them all 640. Okay, so that's the state of this file, and the file has been saved. I'm going to exit, and let me do a cat on this thing. Custom. Okay, so the file has everything that we placed in it. Okay. The most important one for me right now is var log apache 2 php errors.log, because we're going to go and we're actually going to create that file. Okay, I cd'd up one directory, although that doesn't matter that much except makes things neater. Here, let me do... Okay, now it's a lot neater. Alright, now I'm going to do php 5 nmod custom to enable that configuration file. php 5 nmod custom. Okay, it didn't give me any message, but I guess it did something. What I'll do is I'll verify that that symlink is there. Okay, so how do I do that? Okay, let's see what's here. I'm going to go into Apache 2, cd Apache 2. Then I'm going to cd into confd. Okay, let me see what's in here. There should be a symlink. Yes, there is a symlink right now to that custom.ini file. And it's in the etcphp5 apache 2 confd. Let me see if it put it in CLI also. So let me go up, cd .. ll. Okay, cd .. ll. Okay, now cd into CLI. CLI what? Conf.d. Okay. So let's see what's in here. Yep, it put that custom ini symlink in here also. Okay. Let's go up. All right. So I verified that a symlink was created, and it was created for both the browser interface to Apache and the CLI. Okay, there's another way to confirm that this configuration file called custom.ini was added, and that command is php5 query with a -m. Okay, it should be php5. Okay, php5 query. Okay, PDO, custom, MySQLi. Okay, see, it has custom in there. All right. Okay, so let's go, let's do service Apache restart here. Apache 2, restart. Restarting Apache. All right, let me just go check that in the browser to make sure that it's running. Yep, it's running. All right. Create the error log file for PHP and make it owned by Apache, which is www-data. All right, so let me go to where I'm going to create it. cd var log. Okay, let's see what's in here. A lot of stuff. Okay, so cd Apache. Okay, so there's all my error logs right in here. Var log Apache 2. So I'm going to create this file, PHP Errors. Okay, touch PHP Errors dot log. Alright, now we have PHP Errors dot log. Now, Apache needs to be able to write to this file PHP Errors dot log. It seems like Apache is able to write to these other ones, even though they are owned by the user root and the group admin. But I'm just going to follow the directions that I have, and I'm going to run this command. Chown www-data colon, and this colon is very important, phperrors.log. And this colon, I think, it'll make both the group and the user attributed to this file. Alright, let me run the command and then do ll and see what it looks like. Okay, see? User and group. They're both associated with php underscore errors.log. So Apache should have no problem writing to this. Okay? Alright, next phase here. Let me cd into my home directory. Okay, I'm going to do apt-get install php5 mcrypt. I'm going to skip this package and skip this one. Okay? Alright. Now let me do php5 nmod mcrypt. I guess the other two don't require nmod or something, or maybe whoever created the course didn't want to enable those two modules. Okay, so let me do php5 nmod mcrypt. Okay, let me do php5 query -m. Okay, so now mcrypt shows up here. Okay, let me do Apache restart. Alright, service Apache 2 restart, restarting web server. Okay, let me test the web server. Okay, web server works. I'm going to copy errors.php to production. I'm going to put it at the web root, at the document root. Okay, so I type project. That's my alias for going to CDing into my project. Let's see where I am here. Okay, cd into web. Okay, so I'm going to put in my document root, which is right here, a file called errors.php. So let's do nano errors.php. Alright, let me copy the source for errors.php. Paste. Alright. Jeez, let me put some carriage returns in this thing. Alright, let me save this file. Control O for write out. Okay, control exit. Let's do a directory listing. There we have a file called errors.php, and it has the same privileges or permissions as any other file in here. And in this version of this version of Linux, it's okay for PHP files to not be executable, and they will still be able to run. So let me try to run that file. It's called errors.php. First, let me do a cat on it. Alright, it looks to be there. Okay. Let me go right over here and type errors.php. Okay, so it works. except I need to check to make sure that it actually logged some errors in my error log. Okay, that's more important. This is the last thing we're going to do in this video. Alright, let me go to the logs directory. I have an alias for that. Logs. Alright, PHP Errors.log. Still has absolutely nothing in it. I wonder why. I figured out what the problem was. There's nothing wrong with the permissions on the PHP Errors.log file. There's nothing wrong with the ownership. As a matter of fact, the ownership needs to be like this. When I set it like this, it stopped working. What the problem was the permissions on the folder that is housing these. In other words, on this folder. I'll just go up one folder and then do an LL. Okay. This is the enclosing folder. Other did not have any permissions to enter into this Apache 2 directory, and that was the problem. The solution was to run this command. chmod o plus rx Apache 2. That gave other read-write on the Apache 2 directory, the Apache 2 which is in the logs. Okay? So that was the problem, and that was the solution. And the place where I found that solution was right here at Server Vault after doing a Google search. Okay? So now PHP is able to write to its own error log file. The other thing which I did is I checked with PHP info, and that custom.ini I did, it's being read and there's nothing wrong with that. The log file is configured correctly in PHP on the web server, and the configuration is active. That's it.